Thank you, everyone who is joining. If you don't already know me, my name is Jade. I am an intuitive artist, a Reiki master. I'm trained in multiple different healing modalities, and I'm really just here to serve. But I am so excited to talk with Susanne today. She is one of my clients. She has accomplished so much. So, Susanne Bombach, she is in Berlin, Germany. She is a single mom of 5, a scuba dive instructor, and a spiritual guide. So, welcome, everybody. Welcome, Susanne. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here with you.
Yes. So, I want to start just to give people a little bit of a background history of where you kind of were, what your life was like before, and feel free to share as little or as much as you want, but it just gives people an idea of the resistance that we all have, that we can all relate to in some way, shape, form, or another, that's blocking us from really feeling the way we want to feel. So if you could just share a little bit about your past, I would appreciate it.
So when we connected and I booked the Reiki, I was going through periods of overthinking, definitely. There was a lot of second guessing myself, doubting myself. I didn't really want to trust my intuition, even though my intuition was very clear at some points. And I had, and I think that is something from childhood, of having more of a paradigm to give but than to receive. And I was very amazed at the Reiki session where I was just, I was able to shut down and receive. That was a new one for me, especially when it's something that is unknown for me. Haven't had Reiki before.
Yeah, so it was your first experience with Reiki, or have you had any other kind of like healing, like holistic healing sessions?
No,
Okay,
no.
awesome.
I
Yeah.
actually Googled before what Reiki actually is, but I didn't even get in. I just, read maybe 2 sentences, but I didn't know what I'm about to experience.
Yeah. So and I meant to share this. So, we had this one Reiki session. It was your first time. You weren't even fully aware of what it was, but
Yeah.
you managed. I remember this was so amazing. It was within 5 minutes after our session. You sent me a
Mhm.
message and you're like, Jade, like this opportunity came in. This man messaged me about this opportunity, and it was with the ocean, right? Like your love
Yes.
of the ocean. And that it was like immediate, and you just attracted it. And
Yeah.
then you applied for another opportunity that
Yeah.
same day or shortly around then, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a month passed, and Susanne messaged me again, and she was like, Jade, she was like, I applied for this opportunity, and I'm going to have this ongoing job, like coaching women. I'm going to be
Mm.
speaking to like 250 women, and I'm getting paid double my salary. And you're like, thanks for the Reiki. And I was like, what? Like, this is
Yeah.
amazing. Um, so you were struggling before with like trusting your intuition and like listening to your inner guidance and stuff. Um,
Mm.
and like there's things that have gone on. Like I said, you don't have to share much, but like me personally, I had been in a very toxic, abusive relationship. And there were things that led up to that. But that was really a point for me where my belief system was shattered so much in myself, my confidence, trusting myself. There was so much
Mm.
fear, there was so much insecurity. And I know, Susanne, you and I bonded over that because you've had
Mm.
a past that you've had to deal with, that you experienced
Mm.
of your own. And I think that's something that a lot of women and men, but like my clients typically always tend to be women, but we have struggled with being hurt by people that we really love. And
Yeah.
that can, and we have traumas like that, and everyone goes through trauma, right? Like I believe every single person does. But when we experience things like that and we don't fully heal, that energy from that will seep into every relationship, every area of your life. So your friendships, your business, your family life. Um, it's like a poison that just spreads, and we all have this ripple effect, and that's why it's so important to heal. And I think there can be such a stigma around healing because it kind of hurts our ego thinking like we're not good enough, but it's just part of our human experience, you
Yeah.
know? And it's really this is how we find the true peace that we're looking for, the love that we're looking for. Because at the end of the day, I think this is my perception. Everyone in the world just wants to feel safe. We want to feel secure. We want to feel loved. We want to have peace. And we want to know that we are accepted, that we belong somewhere. And
Mm.
so it's like the energy work and what I do, it might seem like it's not even attached, you know, like, but it all goes together. So it supports so much. So, Susanne, you're not new to investing in yourself. Like you have
Oh,
really done the work, right? So, like, if you could share with everyone, what courses or programs or just personal things, what have you done to move the needle from where you were going through so much trauma and insecurities to where you are now?
yeah. So a little bit about my background is I grew up in Eastern Germany, and my father has a story with alcohol abuse. And my mom had a story with wanting to kill herself. So that was my childhood. And the pattern was for me from childhood, I could control what I give out, but I was scared to receive any kind of compliment or present because I couldn't control the inflow of energy. I could, control the flow out. And so, it basically laid a foundation for me to attract a husband that is also not the right person for me. Took a long journey until I was ready to invest in myself. So after the divorce, I started with therapy. But therapy is only bottom work. It's not solving any problem. On a deeper level, let's say there is some important work about therapy, but coaching is going to be different. And so I actually dumped half of the money that I got out from selling the house after the divorce into my development. I really felt I want to do something about myself. So I invested into coaching. When I became a coach for Proctor, then I started with Kathleen, where we both connected. And I think it's not actually the money that we invest, but we invest a new energy into a potential new us, if that makes sense. And we're going to always see that we might invest and we think we're done, but we're not going to be done because it's like brick after brick after brick. And so, for example, with Jade, and that was interesting, when you gave me the Reiki, I had spirit guides during the session showing up. Right, like my grandfather did something hilarious, and then something else showed up. And on that day, I had so often situations where God would tell me something absolutely funny. Now, I think that is also the power of Reiki, where we learn how to actually receive. Because it's not about thinking, I don't have to do anything, I only sit and receive. And you provide a safe space and a beautiful energy. And so that made me feel safe. And I wasn't going always, well, what do I have to do? What do I have to think? Do I have to control my thinking? Because there was no thinking during that time.
Yeah. That's
And
what's so
so,
beautiful about it. It really
yeah.
is. I think again, myself, I always gave. I love to love. I love to give. I had a really hard time receiving, and there's so many areas where we're so much alike, Susanne. But that's what I love about the particular type of session I did with you. I have different ones, I have a different one that's more interactive, but especially for someone new to Reiki who hasn't had that experience, or someone who just doesn't want to be talked at, doesn't want to be told what to do, doesn't want to think. They just want to show up. That's all you have to do. You just have to
Yeah.
show up and be open to receive. And that's why your testimony is so powerful that I wanted to share with people because
Mm.
um, your results were just amazing. And it's a true testament of our connection and
Mm.
your part. You know, if someone shows up and they're not open to it, they're not going to have the same results. You know, like you really have to surrender and just trust the process. So can you tell me a little bit more about what your experience was like? I know you said you had guides show up, your grandfather
Yeah.
came, you knew
Yeah.
yeah, I remember looking at you and you were like just beaming, you know,
Yeah.
and because normally my eyes are closed during the whole session and I have all these visions kind of come to me. But when I
Yeah.
took a peek at you, um, you were just beaming. And so I'd love
Yeah.
if you could share with people because everyone experiences it differently. So did
Mm.
you notice, so you had visions? What else was
Yeah.
there? Did you feel things physically? Did you hear things? Like what? Just explain a little bit more what it was like for you.
If I would speak in pictures and about Reiki, I would say it feels a bit like sunlight shining through your body. A bit like cleaning, you feel warm. And during Reiki, it's also a sensation that some parts of the body feel different. Like say in some parts you feel warm and then the next moment you feel in another part warm. So that is beautiful. It's relaxing. It's very grounding. I saw my grandfather where he showed me a treasure chest when he was 5 or 4 years old. A green and yellow treasure chest, and he was showing me what type of gifts he had inside. And we never talked about it, so he must have given me a message. And he also showed up in a lightning house, so whenever I see a lightning house, I know my grandfather is by me. So that is the symbol for him. And ever since a lot of things came, like this opportunity came to teach at the community college. Tomorrow I'm giving a workshop in front of, I don't know, 208 people or something like that. And Jade, Bob Proctor channeled through me something that I didn't even know about a conversation with somebody that I didn't know of. And I had to give this information to somebody in the Napoleon Hill Institute. And he said, yes, I know. We had a conversation like that. So basically, Bob was asking me to give to somebody that worked with him the information that he really wants him to write a book for young people.
When
And I
was
was
this?
like, okay,
When
what?
did this happen?
Last week? Last
Oh,
week I
wow.
gave over the information about 6 weeks ago, maybe, or 4 weeks ago. I don't know. I don't remember anymore. And I was messaging that
That's
guy. He didn't answer the message. So I felt, okay, maybe I'm going to say it to him in person. And I just told him, Bob keeps telling me to write a book. So, yeah, and it's
that's so
amazing.
amazing. Yeah. So what's interesting is before this call, I was doing dishes and I was just like just so excited for this and celebrating you. And I was like, man, I wonder what Bob would say to her if he popped in, you know, because
Yeah,
I have people who have transitioned pop in all the time in Reiki sessions or to me to like give someone a message. And it's funny because you already received it. Like he's already talking to you. He's still
yeah,
connected with you. And that's amazing. So it's funny I picked up on that right before the
yeah.
call. I was like, I wonder what Bob would say to Susanne. And you already know.
He showed up a year ago and asked me to really charge a certain amount of money for my services. And when he went out,
Yeah.
and it's so interesting. I believe when we have a situation where we feel that we always felt we only have control, or when we out of fear choose to control what kind of energy we give out, and we want to control what energy comes in by blocking it, when we won't have the same life, it's not going to be as flexible. be it gifts, be it trusting people, be it trusting ourselves. Maybe intuition is also a gift, something that is given to us. So I'm still working on it, to fully trust myself and other things. But when we learn to really to open up to a new energy through Reiki, like yours, for example, then the flow is going to be better and different ideas can come to us. So, like, could be simple little things. Now money keeps coming to me, which is beautiful. But it only can happen if we allow ourselves to have a new energy in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to be open to receive it. That's why energy work and like I incorporate different modalities as well. I say Reiki, but that's kind of a general, point. But we remove those blockages. So, we have these, chakras throughout our body, and they can be categorized because they're all over. We have depending on who you ask, like 114 of them. There's 7 kind of general primary ones that people talk about. Since becoming a Reiki master, I've learned more that there's actually more, like 12. But these energy centers really regulate our mind, our body. It really forms our experiences. And so when we have, this is where everything starts from. Everything is energy. It cannot be created or destroyed. And so these powerful points throughout our body are essential to nurture, because it's actually, you've been working on your mindset, and it helps that. It amplified everything you're already doing. If you have these, if you're working on your physical health, because this is our vessel. I talk about it in different ways. We don't want to base our value on what we look like or things like that, but this is our vessel that's keeping us here in this 3D world. So it's important that we take care of our bodies. And if we have these things going on in our mind that are negative or of a lower vibration, if it's shame or guilt or fear, things like that, if we do not release them, if we don't allow it to move through us, if we're putting up walls, we're holding it there, and it will actually manifest in your physical body. That's where things like from my past that I can speak on, I had chronic migraines. I had irritable bowel syndrome. I had a myofascial pain disorder. I had CRPS. I had depression, anxiety, panic attacks. I had all these physical things, and I can actually trace back to my first trauma and that experience and what my mindset was like and how that followed me throughout my life. And it just kept getting worse because I wasn't getting to the root of it. And when I did, I released it all. I don't have any of those health issues anymore. They're gone. So when you work on things on an energetic level, that's where things really come in and change. And I think it's truly the path of least resistance. You had been doing the work, you'd been doing the mindset work, while raising 5 kids on your own and working. Like, talk about superwoman, but it's like there were still blockages, and all you had to do was show up. It was really that easy. And the money came in. The clients are coming in, the job opportunities are coming in. The more confidence and trust, all those things are starting to just pop open. You just were talking about modeling the other day, and I'm like,
Yes.
what? Like, that's so incredible. And I'm not,
I used to hide so much.
Yeah. It's like when you can release those things, all of a sudden you feel lighter, you feel more confident, you do trust yourself more. And it's not that, like we've talked about with intuition, it is something that's an ongoing process, but it's like you're seeing the evidence of what happens just by doing that little bit of energy work. It really is like a muscle. This was the start of my journey, was trusting my intuition. I've always been very intuitive, but I didn't trust myself because I was taught very early on that everything I thought and did and was wrong, and to not ask questions. That's what I was programmed to think and to believe. And so the more I actually started listening to my intuition, the most beautiful things have happened. But you have to quiet the noise. You have to quiet the noise. You can't think your way through so many of these things that we have to deal with and the contrast that shows up in our lives. It's actually about quieting the mind. We're programmed so much to think we have to just try harder, we have to do more. And that's why I love doing what I do, because it's like, no, do less. And it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel like it's not true. All these sort of limiting beliefs are going to come up, and your evidence. It's like one session, and all you had to do was sit there and be open to receive. And everything that was already lined up for you, that you've been calling in, that you've been working towards, just started showing up. Like, it's really that easy.
I always dreamed to have a possibility to be be by a makeup artist, and she would offer me to be, getting a makeup done like the Great Gatsby. And she said it last week. I mean, we were sitting there and we were talking, and she's a model, and I told her I've always wanted to be a model because, fashion. But I didn't want to do it because of my skin. And then she said, no, you can absolutely go modeling. And this is the thing about a blurry vision. So I thought my skin is not good for modeling. But she and her boss for the makeup said, to me that I have absolutely beautiful skin. So, right, I mean, if we are not open to receive, then this is not going to happen most likely in our life. That somebody's going to say, I'm going to, get you a makeup of Gatsby, or maybe go and sign up by a modeling agency.
Yeah, that's so incredible. It really, I really love your story just because of how far you've come already and all the work that you've done. And again, investing in yourself. And it is, you've been putting in the finances, the time, the energy into releasing all these things. I don't like the wording anymore. I don't prefer it, of becoming this better version of ourselves. I think of it so much as it's unbecoming, all the stuff that was never us to begin with. That's
Yeah.
why, like, when you talk to me, you're like, man, every time I see you, you look more beautiful, or you're more radiant. And it's like, because I keep releasing stuff. I keep letting go of all this crap in my head, this story I've been telling myself that's not true. And I've been doing it through a number of things. I really talk about a whole mind, body, soul, spirit experience and cultivating that connection. But for me, the missing piece, because I was reading the books, I was taking the courses, I was doing the affirmations, I was journaling, exercising, but I still had all these blockages in an energetic way that I didn't understand before. And since I started working on that, wow, like the shifts that I have had. So I truly practice what I preach and want to show people what's possible. But that's why I love sharing, my clients' testimonies. And I really do appreciate you coming on and sharing this and being vulnerable, because I have a lot of clients who have these incredible wins, but they want their privacy. They don't want to be doing all of this, and I respect that truly. And to each their own. So thank you so much for sharing this. And something that circled back around that came to me earlier was when your grandfather showed up, and there was this like treasure chest, and it was yellow and green. I believe even the color of those is no coincidence, because color even has its own frequency. So sometimes there's colors that we resist because we actually need them. Sometimes there's colors that we're drawn to, and it shows more of what our personality is. But we can actually heal with color. And so the yellow and the green is significant. And I think it perfectly relates to you. So I encourage you. And you've been wearing green. I saw that picture of you, that new profile picture with the green shirt, and I was like, that's perfect. Green represents the heart chakra, the heart space. It's about renewal. It is about love. It's about forgiveness, things like that. Yellow is correlated with your sacral chakra or your solar plexus, which is like right kind of in this area above your navel and like your lower ribs. And it is your personal powerhouse. It is your joy, it is your optimism, your sense of purpose, things like that. And I think that's a really beautiful sign for you from your grandfather for what to still nurture and keep working on. And so I encourage you to incorporate those colors, whether you wear them, if it's little pieces around your house, but that will send you healing energy in its own. And a lot of times we're not even aware of it when we're drawn to certain colors, or a certain color lights you up. That's your intuition. So pay attention to all those messages. Um, have you been listening to the recording that
Yes,
of our Reiki session?
it's really calming. And this is so interesting when we get into personal development. There is sometimes this massive masculine energy, do, affirm, affirm, affirm. Like, some YouTube video where a guy at 4 o'clock in the morning is running around and somebody is screaming affirmations into his head or motivational speeches. And that is so interesting. When I started out, I had this thinking that, I have to do more, I have to change myself and so on. And I have come to realize now is I don't like the words level up, becoming your best version. If somebody says I have to level up, or if I would say I have to level up, it would mean that I'm inferior. There's nothing inferior about me.
Exactly.
We can say maybe let's drop a bit of what starts to get in your way. That's fine, but it's a different awareness, especially when, let's say, technique of healing like energy work comes in, where we are not demanded to do something and we are not demanded to say or write or think something. It gets easier bypassing through the paradigm. Our paradigms won't kick in so easily where we feel like, what do I have to do? What do I have to think? And I think that is a very big asset, and that helped me a lot. I was such an overthinker, and it helps a lot to be in a different energy.
Yeah. Yeah, we
And
all have the masculine and the feminine energy, and it really is a dance. I look at it as one's not, you can't be all in one or the other. It's really a dance between the two. But for me personally, and this isn't to say that everyone's the same way, like that's one of the biggest things I want to make sure people understand is um, I share my experiences and what I do, but yours are going to be different based on who you are and your belief system, the lens that you're looking through, but we all feel things differently. And so don't ever feel like if you feel something differently that it's wrong. It's just different. So for me, I used to always be so much in the masculine energy, the doing, the taking action all the time. And that is important. Like you can't just sit on your couch and expect everything to come. It doesn't work like that. But when I lead from my feminine energy, when I lead from my heart, when I trust my intuition, when I'm visualizing and meditating, when I'm listening, allowing, things do just come. But when it comes, you take the action, so it really is this dance of the two. But for me, honestly, this is the real work, is quieting your mind. It's doing energy work, that all of that in the self-care, the self-love, that's like 80% of the work that I do. The other 20 is the masculine and the reaching out, the taking actions. But when you do things, when you are in flow, when you're in that flow state, it happens so easy. It is effortless and it is just magical, and people are going to feel that. So it's not about what we're doing, it's how we're doing it. And I tell you, like, I can, because I'm not perfect, I'm human, There's times when I'm so good about doing Reiki on myself every day. And then there's times when I'm like, oh, I'm feeling so good. I don't need to do it. And then I slowly start going back into past tendencies of like work, 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 which comes from lack and limitation. There's a tipping point for me. And yes, I know I'm squirreling a little bit. I'm a very passionate, driven person. And so for me, doing the action is fun and I love it. But there's a tipping point to when it's pushing, to when you're trying too hard. And I don't know about you, but I've tried so hard and had to fight my whole life. I've had to fight my whole life. And I don't want to do that anymore. That's not living to me. Like I want to live, I want to thrive. And I am because of leaning into my divine feminine energy. And this is what I want to help other women understand is that you don't have to try so hard and you can give. But if you're not filling your cup first, you're going to burn out, you're going to crash, you're going to get sick. That's when all these physical health problems can come in or family problems. So it's like, fill your cup so full, it's overflowing and you can give effortlessly. You can do the work effortlessly because I don't want to say, how do I word this? You're always whole. Like that was another point I want to talk about. But you know what I mean? Like when you're feeling good and you're in flow, how you do things is going to be different. But that was the other thing I wanted to touch on when you were talking about, highest self and leveling up. I'm with you on that. There's times, and I think for some people it's motivating. Great. Like if that's what works for you, do it. Like do what works for you. For me, I would rather believe that I'm whole. I'm not perfect, but I'm perfectly imperfect. Like I can be a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time. I was created this way. I was created on purpose. And so the more I can love myself where I'm at now, the more I've been able to expand and get to the goals that I wanted. But I don't look at things as a scale of higher or lower anymore. In terms of vibration, I do an energy. You can, but I look at things as more of a spider web. Everything's all connected. You can take any path that you want. It's just a different area. It's not better or worse. It's all connected. Just do what feels good to you. So it's like you're having all these shifts. You're feeling better. You're still just as valuable where you were a year ago, where you were 10 years ago, where you'll be 10 years from now. Your value never changes, but your experience can change. And this helps you feel so full, feel so empowered, have so much peace, have so much love. And I think that's when the outside world will change and you can have whatever you want. But I know so many celebrities who have this, dream life. They have all the money and money is great. I'm not saying anything negative towards money because money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys you comfort. It helps you have freedom. So it is important. But you can have all these material things and still not even know who you are. You can feel so depleted from people, from giving so much, from overdoing so much. I know so many, people who are rich and famous who struggle with their mental health. They feel alone. It's like there's so many struggles that they go through, or even feeling guilty. I know a lot of people who have all these things that they worked so hard towards and they earned and they deserve, but they still feel a void and they want more. And then they feel guilty about wanting more because they have all this stuff. So I meet people wherever they're at on their journey, like wherever you're at, that's where I'll meet you there. But know that you never lose your value and that everyone deserves peace. They deserve to feel loved and to give love freely. Everyone deserves to know that they are accepted just as they are. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything. It's beautiful. And you're always welcome with me, no matter what space you're in. But yeah, we really have to honor, to circle back around. This is me and my squirrel brain, and I honor it. Do what feels good to you. But I truly believe that if this is resonating with anyone who's listening, that energy work really is the piece of the puzzle that amplifies everything you're already doing, or is the perfect piece just to get you started. Like energy work is has changed my life um, far beyond ways that I ever imagined, and I was not open to it at first. When my intuition was like, you need to learn energy work, you need to become this Reiki master, I was like, fine, like I'll do it. And I was kind of scared because I knew my life would change. I didn't know how. It was just an inner knowing. I was like, okay, God, like I'll do it, but I'm not doing it for other people. I'm just going to use it for myself and for my son, you know? And it's funny how when we listen to our intuition, even if you're resisting it, it's like find the courage to just do it anyways. Trust it no matter what. And on the other side of fear are the biggest blessings. So it's like just go for it. That's why support is so essential. Um, we think we know what we want, but I think spirit, God, creator, the universe, whatever that is to you, sees the whole picture. We're seeing things through this small lens. And the more we do this work, the more it expands. But truly, the more we surrender instead of doing all the time. I call it like the art of allowing. That's what Abraham Hicks calls it, the art of allowing and surrendering. You're holding the vision. You know what you want. You know what you're working towards. But be flexible in the details getting there.
Yeah.
Allow your guides, allow spirit, allow your intuition, your soul, the essence of who you are to guide you, and you'll get there faster and easier than trying, than thinking your way there.
I had last week a situation where we were on the call at the Napoleon Hill Institute on a study call, and my intuition kicked in when I heard somebody saying that he really wants to be part of the NBA. No, I even don't know what NBA means. It must be something with basketball or something like that.
It is.
And then my intuition kicked in, and she really said he needs to connect to that and that person in order to get contact with Kobe Bryant's widow. And I gave him the information. This is so amazing, like a detailed plan. It really drew me a plan. I wasn't even able to concentrate or focus on the lesson because I kept writing down in the chat everything it told me, and I just dropped it. It's so amazing the downloads we get.
Yeah, you were in a place of receivership when you were on that call. You
Yeah,
were, even though you were in a call to study, you were in a place where you were open to receive, and it just comes. That's what I'm saying. It's not, had you tried to find a solution for him, it would have been way harder if you even got to it. There's things
yeah,
that I call them downloads too. It's like it'll just come. This light goes off and it's like, yes. And that's again, it's the path of resistance, being open to receive. When we have
yeah.
blocks, when we have blockages, we're stopping all of that. There's all these things lined up for us that we're calling in, and we're
Mm.
always, I believe the universe, our angels, our guides, past loved ones are always talking to us. We're just not
Mm.
always listening. So
So
that's amazing that you have that gift. I've always known you are intuitive. Um, I think you're very, very powerful with it. And so the more you develop that skill, man, Susanne, like that's going to be because we all have gifts and we all have multiple gifts. That's what sets you apart from anybody else. There's nobody else in this world just like you. And so this gift of yours, among many others, is what's going to set you apart and be your gift to the world. So
yeah,
keep nurturing it, keep working on it. That's amazing.
there was a last big. There's so many wins. 2 days ago, okay, by the weekend last week, I knew that I was gonna have a loan payment that has to be taken off my account, and I didn't know where it comes from. Past me would have freaked out, but I had a feeling that God is bigger than this loan payment. So about 3 days ago, and Florence Shin she's my spirit guide for money. I have sent her. I was in peace. I felt, nothing's going to happen. I'm going to be fine. The money came on the right place at the right time. So, I mean, this is also a spirit guide. We can always have a spirit guide for anything, but I decided she's going to be my guide.
Yeah.
Whenever and this is not a new tradition for me, maybe, or a new habit. The book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, I open it randomly in the morning and it would give me guidance for the day.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love doing that. Yep. That's leading with your heart. That's leading with your intuition, everything you're doing. And yeah, I think said with Reiki, and it doesn't have to be. It depends on where people are at on their journey, but when you connect to the universal energies, this other realm that we don't see, that we hear about, and there's different religious beliefs and things like that, and I think we receive messages in a way that we understand. So someone might experience an angel, because that is what they're familiar with and that's what's comfortable, and so that's what will come forward. It can come in all sorts of different ways, whether it's numbers or like there's so much symbolism all around us. It could be feathers, it could be butterflies, it could be dragonflies, it could be owls, it could be a whole number of things. Connect with those. Like there's so much support. Like you are always so guided and supported all the time. So trust it. And all you have to do is ask. But that's part of what I love doing is I am so sensitive. I feel things very strongly. So it makes it really easy for me to tune into what is showing up to support you, and what you need, and to channel that energy for you. But it's something that you can all do on your own. Like you truly can. If you're wanting support just with balance or having more peace, like if there's something you're struggling with, just put it out there and be like, I would love support with this, and just know that it's going to happen, and people will show up. Either the universe will send someone like physically on your path that's going to help you with that. It could be a spirit guide. There's a number of ways. So I encourage people to be open and not set these beliefs about what's possible, because anything can arrive in a number of ways. Money doesn't have to just come from your job. It can come in a variety of ways. And most often in the manifestation world, in my experience, it shows up, number one, in a way I don't expect. And two, it shows up when I quit thinking about it so much, when I just surrender, when I let it go. How do I let go? Not by thinking, not by doing. It's by slowing down. It's by doing less. It's by having faith in me, faith in my higher power. It's in doing the energy work. It's in meditating. It's really so much easier than we make it. And that's part of our humanness. That's part of the lessons we're here to learn, but we're all in it together. So I love that there's so many different wins and things are just showing up for you. Just keep doing the work that you're doing. And I say work in a way of not the doing, but like the inner work, the studying, the personal growth, the self-love, the energy work. Like it's amazing how just this one session, like the ripple effect, like you can see the ripple effect from that one session. Was it all purely the energy work? No, but it was the missing piece that allowed it to all actually come in.
I realized something during the past, let's say, 4 or 5 months. I love my parents and they were always giving me the best they could, right? Yeah. So, but still, it comes to a point where we think about inner child and what it wants to tell, but we can also say we can be parent to our inner child. When I don't want to say grow, but when we open ourselves up So I have a picture of me when I was a teenager and I hated myself during that time on the wall. I really looked miserable on the picture. But the longer I started, let's say, allowing a different belief system to root in my life, she seems to be starting to smile on the picture.
Oh.
And I think that is the work that we do. The perception is going to change.
Yeah.
So I do it for her also.
Yes. So think about this. Like all these paradigms kick in. I'm not sure exactly what age it is. I think around 4 or 5. These limiting beliefs that we're taught, because when we're born, that's when the veil is so thin. We're our purest form. We're just free. We just know, you know. But it's like there's so many past versions of ourselves that were wounded and hurt. And a big part of what I help people do is find love and support for every version of you that exists. Because when you're holding on to that shame or resentment or pain, even if you don't remember it, trust me, you're still carrying that with you. So I love that you have that picture on your desk. I have a picture on my desk right here of my brothers and I when we were little. And I have my hand on my heart. And it was like, yeah, like that's me. It's like my eyes are like, yeah, that is such a beautiful version of me. And it's like all the times when I'm speaking negative about myself, I'm like, I'm talking to her. Like, that's no, she deserves better than that. I'm going to treat her the way she deserves. And like you, I should have a picture of me as a teenager, because I've done a lot of work on healing that version of myself, because that's where a lot of the trauma really first stemmed from. So I love that you have a picture of yourself as a teen. I think that's something that I will do, is get that picture. But the more we heal our inner child and these past selves, imagine holding their hands. So it's like you have yourself at 30, at 20, at 10, you're holding their hands. Well, every version of you, every future version of you is holding your other hand. So when I'm getting crazy goosebumps right now. Yeah. When you are working on healing your past, you are, excuse me, I'm getting crazy chills and emotions coming up. When you're doing that past work healing, you're healing your future. You're changing your entire trajectory. Every single decision that we make is creating our future. So it's like when you break through a paradigm, when you release that limiting belief, you change everything. Everything before you is changing. It's powerful, and it only has to come from one decision, like one step at a time. Like I love working with people in a way that feels good to them. Like it's good to know what your dreams are, what your goals are, but it's like all we have is right now. So what's one thing you can do right now?
Just imagine during the session when I connected with my grandfather, it was basically two children connecting to each other because he was a child in that moment. So you can basically also connect to ancestors, and basically we are all kids.
Yeah. Yeah. There's healing that we can do. It's not just for us. It is it's going to help everyone that we come into contact with. But to give you a really broad view of how essential this is, it's going to affect your children and your family, your partner if you have one. It's going to affect your friends. It's going to affect your business relationships, your whole family. There's things that we carry right now that I can look back that my mother struggled with, that my grandmother struggled with. You're literally healing generations. Like you, Susanne, you are healing generations right now. And that makes me so emotional because it's so powerful and it's such a gift to be able, like you were chosen to do that. Not everyone before you had the courage to do what you've done. You made it through hell on earth. And so
Yeah.
now you get to create heaven on earth, and you get to heal your ancestors. You get to heal all this karmic stuff that's been going on. You're healing your children because they are watching you. And I know as mothers, we tend to want to teach, but just by modeling, they're learning so much. So you are healing them and their children. Like it goes so far, the ripple effect. It's just incredible.
With summer, my oldest daughter decided she's going to go visit my parents, and she never was there. I never allowed them to go there because, with all the love to my parents, the house is not in a state that reflects people that love themselves. And okay, I thought, okay, she's going to be turning 18. Let's go. She can go. Within a few days, she was on the phone crying. She wants to go back. The way my father treats himself is reflected in the environment. Same about my mom. For a few days, I had something like a face rush because it really has gotten under my skin. But this time, I did not go into feeling guilty about them or shame or feeling overly responsible. I simply said to my kids, let's pray for them. And Jade, the biggest breakthrough comes when we can say and really accept that whatever person is with us, and if they don't choose the path that we want for them, that this is the path where they are supposed to be right now, where God wants them to be. I didn't want to accept that. I didn't. I had this thing from childhood where I wanted to make them wealthy, which is a huge burden for a child. And I always had a thought, I want them to be in a certain way. I want them happy, healthy, and whatever. What if we are supposed to be that way at the moment? And that is painful because, we always want to be there for our loved ones. But I told my kids, don't condemn them, pray for them. This is all we can do.
Yeah.
And I did realize that I can be mindful and not having contact so often with them. I'm not responsible for them anymore.
Yeah, that's a beautiful awareness, especially as empaths who feel so strongly and who want to give. We want to help everyone, but we can't help people who don't want to be helped, who aren't open to it. And there's even people that we love that are very toxic and can hurt us in different ways. Don't ever send hate. Don't have judgment, because all of that will come back to you. I truly believe love is the answer, and it's really that simple. There's people in my life. I had a huge breakthrough myself recently. There's people in my life who would make it really easy to resent, to even hate, because they cause so much pain. That's not the answer. That doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good in my heart. So I have worked really hard, and it kind of comes in waves, to just send them love and to pray for them. It's out of my control. There's nothing I can do, but what I can do is send them love, and that feels good to me. And that's never going to hurt anything. That doesn't mean don't have boundaries. Like, have boundaries, have healthy boundaries, and stick to them as an act of self-love. Like, have boundaries and stick to them. But you can still pray for people. You can still have love for them and wish them well, but it's not your burden to carry. That's their choice. Where they're at is their choice. And you're right. I think everyone's exactly where they're meant to be, and everyone's doing the best they can with what they know. And they might figure it out in this lifetime. They might not, but that's not anyone else's burden to carry. That's between them and their higher power of whatever that is, but you can still send them love. Yeah, absolutely. That was a valuable lesson alone that your daughter learned, that she wanted to see them. She went, and then she's like, this doesn't feel good. I need to go. And then you're like, okay, well, don't be around them, have boundaries, but you can still pray for them. That's beautiful. I truly believe, like, we're all connected. We are all connected. We are all one. Um, the answer is always love. That doesn't mean if someone's not your cup of tea that you have to be cruel to them. Just say like peace out and go a different direction. That's all you got to do. You don't have to judge, you don't have to hate, don't have to try to like hope people get what they deserve. Like no, just go a different direction. If someone's not your cup of tea, I know I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and I'm finally in the place where I'm okay with that. That was really hard for me as a perfectionist and people pleaser in the past. All I ever wanted, because I've always loved people, all I ever wanted was just to be loved back. And it's like I finally accepted that I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And that's okay. I love them anyways. And I wish them
Yeah.
well. We can do
We had a
different things.
joke. Where was it? Sorry. We had a joke yesterday as I'm learning trading in the chat. We were talking about dating and so on because we said, in Germany, guys don't go to Tinder anymore. They go to see Barbie the movie because there are many women in. So I said, listen, we're gonna do this about trading. If you can't trade together, you're not gonna end up together. It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
But it's so good. I mean, in the end, it's the path of least resistance. It's fine if people join our life for a certain time, and we can let each other go. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, again, I think of it all as like a web. You can choose whatever path and it's going to always be evolving and changing. It can keep expanding, but it's not, life is not linear. Like healing is not linear. It's not just this straight line or this straight line up. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
There's just so many possibilities out there.
yeah,
So I want to kind of sum this up so we don't keep people too long. Where
yeah.
can people find you? Do you so that they can see you on your journey and your wins, or if they want to connect with you, where can they do that?
I'm on Instagram.
Okay.
I have a handle. I can leave it later.
Okay, perfect.
Um, I don't want to brand myself in one word. What I really care for is the oceans.
Yeah.
It means everything to me. So, like diving means the world to me. I for sure on this journey learned how growth can be painful or not growing can be painful to people. So, knowing that I really care about people in a way that I want to guide them to a path that really serves them if they want to join the party. Um, yeah, I just want to make it easy for all beings on this planet. I don't want to restrict it to people, but all types of beings.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Yes.
And I feel that. So, oh, one last question. Could you, what helped you, what made the decision to work with me? You know, a lot of coaches, you know, a lot
Yeah.
of different people from all over from programs you've taken. I'm in a whole
Yeah.
nother country. What, why did you choose to work with me? Why did you decide to say yes?
First of all, I trust you. I know you and I love your energy, but it was also intuition that said you are the right person.
Yeah, I love that. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Susanne. Please,
I thank you.
everybody, I would love if you followed her on Instagram, cheer her on, celebrate her, see what she's all about. I'm not huge on labels. There's no small couple little terms that can sum us up. We are all multifaceted. So please join her on her journey and follow her and celebrate her because we're all in this together. And especially
Yeah.
as women, I think we can reach more people. We can make a bigger impact when we do it together. I'm all about collaboration, not competition. So let's support one another truly. And that's how we can spread our messages and our gifts even further. any of this has been speaking to you, if this resonates with you, I have different Reiki sessions. I have all different offers. I like to do custom packages when I can. But if this is speaking to you, if there's a nudge, your intuition, or if you know me and just want to know more information about what I do, please reach out to me personally. You can send me a message to Jade Oshesky on or my business, but I like to do things kind of one-on-one. You can reach out to me on Messenger. You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram. Um, I have an email address that's hello@jadebriannecollective.com. So you can email me. I have a website. All my links are in my bio on Facebook and Instagram. So there's a multitude of ways to connect. But if you have any questions at all, if you're curious to know more, or if you know that you're ready, please reach out to me and we can do a free 30-minute call and do like a chakra assessment to see if what I have to offer is right for you. And if it is, then we will see what options are best going to get you from where you are to where you want to be. But just know that wherever you're at, that's where I'm going to meet you.